Hey guys, it's Becky with Design Bundles, and today I am here to talk to all my Silhouette Studio users. Now, what we're going to talk about today, and maybe you're not a user yet, but you want to be, we're going to tell you all about the upgrades that are available to you. We're going to talk about how you purchase them, what you're actually purchasing, the differences between the upgrades, how to recover your upgrade if you need to move to a new computer, and some tips and tricks of just keeping track of the whole shebang. So we will go ahead and jump over to the Silhouette Studio and get started.
Okay, so the good news is that Silhouette America is nice enough that they have compiled an entire list to show us the differences for the different upgrades in their software. Okay, what you want to do is you can go to silhouetteamerica.com and click on the software button right here in the top right hand side. Now this is going to take you to where you would be able to install the software, and that's exactly where we want to go. But you will see that you have the upgrade options, right? And then if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see this little line here, and it's really easy to overlook, but it says click here for Silhouette Studio feature comparisons. Okay, if you want to go straight here, you just go to silhouetteamerica.com/software/silhouette-studio-features-comparison-chart. Okay, I know that's a mouthful, so that's why I wanted to show you originally where you go to find it on the Silhouette America website. Now, the different editions that you have the basic edition. That is the edition that everybody has. It's free. You will never have to pay for that edition. You have a designer edition. The MSRP is $49.99. Designer Edition Plus is $74.99, and Business Edition is $99.99. Now, I just want to say, and I'm not going to go too far in depth with this, but shop around on those prices because there are several websites that sell the software at a discounted rate, and guess what? It's the same software. Now, let me rephrase that. They sell you a license key, and when you enter that key, it activates the additional features that come along with that. So we'll get more into that in a minute, but I just wanted you to know it's not actually a different version of the software. It's just simply that more features are unlocked once you activate that license key. So if you don't know what some of these features are, there are these little videos here. It will take you straight to YouTube. Okay. Now, of course, we're going to go through the list, and we are at a minimum going to highlight the major points. Okay. So naturally, everything across the board, we're going to go through. These are for the basic edition all the way up through business edition. And what it is these build on each other. So you have basic edition, everybody has basic edition. Designer edition unlocks a few more features. Designer edition plus unlocks a few more features. So by the time you get to a designer edition plus, you have basic edition features, designer edition features, DE plus features, and then business edition has all the features. All right, so they build on each other. You can also upgrade in steps and build on those. But again, we'll talk more about that in a minute. So obviously you can create designs in Silhouette. We all know that. Basic design and text tools. You have your manipulation tools, move, rotate, scale, align, replicate. If you don't know what these are, you can go to your Silhouette Studio and start going through your panels. Your panels, you're going to find those manipulation tools, okay? Well, divide, crop, subtract, cut by line or fill color, okay? So we haven't covered that in a long time, but that is an option. What that means is that there are advanced features under your send panel that allows you to select what cuts and what doesn't. Font access, of course, that's included. You can import JPEG, bitmap, PNG files. You can trace, image effects, print and cut, PixScan, Silhouette library storage, object on path, offset, stipple. Man, they really go into a lot of features here. Sticky notes, pop-up creator, font, colors, print bleed, commercial font indicator. Okay. So Basically, those are all the features. You get all the basic features included in the basic edition. You have everything that you need to get started and use your silhouette cutting machine, or use this for example, sublimation or setting up things on your Glowforge, okay? Now, with the designer edition, you get the ability to import SVG and PDF files. PDF files is not as big of a deal, but SVG files can be. Now, you may be asking, how do I open SVG files in the basic edition? Well, you don't. You need to find DXF files. Now, most creators have gotten on board with that, and they know if they want you to use their file, then they are including now the DXF file. So don't worry about that too much. Just know that in order to truly open an SVG file, an actual file with an SVG extension, you have to have the designer edition or higher. Layers. And layers is not something that I use too terribly often. Once in a blue moon, I'll use layers, but that is a DE feature. Rulers and guides. Now, rulers and guides are, let's show you real quick. In your page setup panel, on your middle icon under grid settings, you can choose to turn on or off your rulers, on and off your crosshairs. Okay, that's the biggest thing that you'll notice when we start talking about rulers and guides. Next is nesting. Now, we have a really great video tutorial on nesting, but nesting basically is a feature where you can take a bunch of different shapes, and Silhouette Studio will twist them and move them around to fit them all on the same cutting mat. It's to conserve your material. All right, the shadow tool, again, I don't use it too much. I imagine this would be useful if you are doing a lot of print and cut, eraser set tools, and knife set tools. Let's talk about those. So the eraser, you get additional features and sizing, and the same with the knife. You get additional ways that you can use the knife and different edges. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so you always have the basic eraser and knife, but you get more capabilities with the eraser and knife when you upgrade to Designer Edition. The eyedropper tool is it's really useful. Basically, it's the ability to copy the properties of one shape onto another shape. It's not used very often. Not a lot of people know about it, but it's there. Shearing is when you can take, now this works for text, it works for shapes, anything like that. Your shearing is going to be under your transform panel. It's this icon right here, and it slants your design. Okay, you can also do it vertically. Now you do get the sketch effect and then also the rhinestone tools. I kind of put those hand in hand because not a lot of people use them unless you need them. So sketch is really good for people who are working with sketch pens a lot, or if you are using your software to create designs to etch. Okay, because that's going to be along the same lines of sketching. And then, of course, your rhinestone is if you are using rhinestones and you want to make your own designs. The basic edition, you can still use rhinestones. Same thing with the sketch. You can still use sketch pens. But if you want to create your own sketch designs or rhinestone designs, then that is something that you will want to upgrade for. Trace by color and magnet trace are both upgrades. I would say by far the most useful is the trace by color. I use that a lot. And then glyph support is being able to access the glyphs to your fonts. So let's talk about that. If I open up and I go to my glyphs panel, I can select any font and be able to access the glyphs right in Silhouette Studio. Now, to a lot of people, that may not be like woo-woo, but I really use glyphs a lot, and this is very useful for me that I don't have to use the character map to access these. Okay, next is going to be your font management. That is going to talk about creating your own fonts, basic warp features. That is really useful. You do not get the conical warp until later on, but the basic warp features, the more advanced pop-up creator, remember we said you got the basic for basic edition. You can import custom patterns, okay? That can be useful, especially if you do a lot of print and cut or sublimation. The lasso selection, you could give or take, and then warp templates. Again, if you're using that warp feature, a lot of people use it to manipulate text, so that could be useful. So that is everything that you're going to upgrade in Designer Edition. To give you a little recap, we're talking about the ability to use SVG files. You get rulers and guides, nesting. Then you also get sketch and rhinestone, trace by color, glyphs. Those are the main ones that you, or at least those are the main ones that I use. All right. So if you're trying to decide which edition is going to be right for you, just consider those main points. Designer Edition Plus. I always tell people you don't need Designer Edition Plus until you are ready to work with embroidery or applique files, because that was primarily what it was pushed out for, was the ability to import your embroidery files and use and manipulate those in your Silhouette software. All right. Now, of course, you do get more. You get advanced rhinestone features, you get flexi shapes, you get a puzzle generator, and you get advanced warp. So I was wrong. You do get the conical warp at Designer Edition Plus. All right. Now, moving on to Business Edition, you have the ability to import AI, CDR, and EPS files. This is really good if you create in softwares that export these types of files. The CDR in particular, I've noticed a lot of sublimation blanks dealers. They will provide templates in a CDR format. The weed line feature, I can give or take that, but it will give you weed lines in your design to help you weeding. Multi-cutter support, what that means is the ability to hook up more than one cutting machine and cut at the same time. All right, so especially if you are, maybe you just really cut a lot of print and cut stickers, maybe you cut a lot of decals, and you have a business and this is kind of a thing for you, and you feel like you're being held back by only cutting one sheet at a time. Well, now you can do more. Matrix copy feature, media layout, automatic nesting, tiling. I will be honest with you, never in an actual project have I used those. I've experimented with them to see what they do. Obviously, there's videos on them that you can go check it out. It's just not really something that I have found super duper useful. The multiple undo and redo, let me show you that. There is this little tiny, looks like a recycle icon up here. And basically it gives you a list. And for example, if I wanted to undo, I can click right here and it would undo actions from 8 to 15. Now we're going to talk about exporting SVG, PDF, JPEG. That also includes PNG, and it's PNG with a transparent background. That is super, super helpful if you are looking to sell designs, okay? If you want to become a designer and use Silhouette Studio, which I do. It's also useful if you are going to be creating anything. For example, you want to create print and cut files for your Cricut. Say you design in Silhouette Studio, but you cut on your Cricut. You're going to want to be able to use that. Say you create and use sublimation files. That transparent background and being able to save as a PNG is going to be useful because you can save these and then print them in your native printer software. All right. The handwritten font creation, the digital font creation, and the edition toggle. I have not used those. I did play around a little bit with the handwritten font creation, but I have not mastered it yet. But we are going to work with that hopefully in an upcoming video. So all of those are Business Edition. So just to recap, the ones that are really important for Business Edition are importing those additional file types, multi-cutter support if you want to cut more than one Cameo at a time. The, let's see, the multiple undo and redo, I do surprisingly use that more than I thought I would. And then exporting as a SVG, PDF, JPEG, and PNG with a transparent background. Those are my highlights for all of the additional features in Silhouette Studio. So basically, what I would recommend everybody to do is start out with the basic edition. See how far that gets you, and then eventually you will start running into different things that you want to do. Like say you know that you work a lot with fonts, you want to unlock that glyph panel. Maybe that's worth the additional money for you, okay? It definitely is for me. And then, you know, maybe eventually you want to start saving as SVG files or importing those additional file types. You can upgrade in steps. All right, so I'm just going to show you. Let's go to Shop and let's go to Software and Digital. And I just want to show you what you're looking for. Here are your Silhouette Studio license keys. I'm going to give you more information on that. Now, you do get the little overviews here. Obviously, my overview was much more in depth. You're welcome. And then here's the license key format. You do not get a physical card. All right, now that's not always going to be true depending on where you purchase from. Some Silhouette America distributors still have physical cards. So just check before you buy and make sure you know which way you're purchasing it, okay? Now, if you buy straight from Silhouette America, then you will get your license code when you check out. If you buy from a distributor, then most of them will email that code to you. Okay, so there's different upgrade options. All right, so let's take a look here. And obviously you're buying one digital license key. The $49.99, this is the MSRP, and this is what you're going to pay if you purchase from Silhouette America. That is basic to go from the basic free edition to the designer edition. If I'm going to go from the basic edition to the designer edition plus, then that's what I'm going to select. And then of course, if I'm going to go from the basic edition to the business edition, that's what I'm looking at there. Now you'll notice there are 3 more other options because say I've already upgraded to Designer Edition and now I'm ready to upgrade to Designer Edition Plus. I can do that, and instead of paying $75, I just pay the additional $25. I have not spent any more money, but I can just unlock them for that extra $25 that I didn't pay to begin with. And then say I'm going from Designer Edition to Business because I only paid $49.99. Business Edition is $99.99. Now my price to upgrade is going to be $50 because I already paid the $50 the first time. I'm just going to pay the additional $50 now. And then from Plus to Business is the additional $25 because I already paid $75 to begin with, and I'm going to then pay the $25 to achieve the $100 that is Business Edition. Now remember I said shop around because I do know that you can get Designer Edition usually for around or just under $30, and you can usually do Business Edition for somewhere around $60. Now, I'm not saying that you don't want Designer Edition Plus, maybe you do, but I feel like if I'm going to be able to score Business Edition for $60, then I might as well just go ahead and buy Business Edition. But you can probably find the Designer Edition Plus for probably $45 or $50 if you're able to find it from a reputable dealer, okay? So you just have to know what you're looking for, but just be careful because like I said, there are resellers out there and they're not trying to mislead anybody. They're not doing it on purpose. It's just when you're new and you're a beginner and you don't exactly know what you're looking for. So if you're ever in doubt, then please ask wherever you're purchasing it from. Hey, I have basic edition. Is this what I need to get to Designer Edition Plus or Business Edition? Okay, so there's never any shame in asking and just making sure, because once you purchase this and you get that code, there are no refunds, and I don't want to see you guys end up in that position, okay? So now let's go ahead and talk about how you upgrade. Once you get that license key, you will go to Help, and you will go to right here where it says Upgrade Silhouette Studio. Now, just for you guys, I'll go ahead and I will deactivate my license key. Now, file that away, okay, because we're going to talk about that again in a minute. But basically, you're going to go to Help, and you will go to Upgrade Silhouette Studio, and you will enter the email address for your account. You will enter your account password, and then you will enter your 16-digit license code. Okay, so I'm going to let you in on a secret. Once you get that license code, you can copy and paste it into one of these fields. Well, I mean, I'm going to say into your account email field. Okay, now don't get excited. That's not actually my license code, okay, because I took part of it out. But what you can do is you can copy and paste each one of these, because you do have to do it in the right format. Okay, so once you input everything, you can simply click Submit. It's going to connect, and it will decide whether you have a valid license key or not. All right, now once this is registered to your account, it is registered to your account. Nobody else can use it but you. So for those of you who saw my license key, congratulations, but you can't use it. You have to go out and score your own, and that's okay. So let's talk about what you saw me do earlier and why you would need to do that. You can deactivate a license key. And the reason you would do that is, say I get a new computer and I need to install my business edition upgrade on there. Now I can have my upgrade on up to 3 computers at a time. Now, what that means is that once I reach my 3, I either have to purchase a new code to continue to put it on new computers, I need to deactivate it off of one computer and put it on another, or if it's a situation where maybe I don't have access to those old computers, then I'm going to need to reach out and talk to Silhouette America. And they can reset that count for you, but they just want to touch base with you and make sure that kind of everything's on the up and up. All right, because you are restricted to having it on 3 computers at once. Now, once you need to activate it on more than one computer, what if you don't remember what your license key is? I'm going to show you where to find that. You can go to the store, and what that is going to do is it's going to open the silhouettedesignstore.com, and you can come up here and you can go to your account. So go to account settings, and then scroll down, and down to the very bottom, these are your Silhouette Studio keys. Now, another thing let me tell you about is if you have upgraded in steps, so say you went from Basic Edition to Designer Edition, and then Designer Edition to Business Edition, then if you have to reactivate this on another computer, you're going to have to repeat that process. So you'll come in here and you'll get your code for Designer Edition, and you'll go ahead and upgrade first. And then you'll come back and get your code for Business Edition and upgrade that. You have to continue to upgrade in steps every time you add it to a new computer, or if something, for some reason, sometimes you'll log in and your upgrade will be gone from Silhouette Studio. It's only happened to me like twice in 5 years, and I don't even think everybody goes through that. But if it happens, just know that you can just come in here and grab your license code and re-enter it into your software, okay? And last but not least, if you're ever in doubt on if you have activated it or not, or if it's active on your account or not, you can come up here at the very top and it will say Silhouette Studio Business Edition, or you can go to Help and go down to About Silhouette Studio. This will also tell you what version of the software that you're on. But see how mine, number 1, it says Business Edition right here, but also down here in the middle it says Silhouette Studio Business Edition, and it also says 4.3.341 SSBE. So they really try to help you out and let you know what version of the software you're actually on. So hopefully you found this useful. And of course, it'll be completely up to you if you decide when and if you need to upgrade your software.
So, what did you think? Overall, the overview of the upgrades is very easy to go through. There's a lot of information to consider, and you may have to Google a few things to find out what all the different features are, but it's really neat to be able to look at it and look at that chart and figure out what upgrade is going to give you the results that you want. And then of course, to find out that you can upgrade in steps is really useful, and where you can find those key codes and how to input the key code. So we really tried to pack this video full of information, and hopefully you guys found it useful. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you leave those below. And of course, we want you to subscribe to the channel because we always have a lot of great videos planned for you right around the corner. So we will see you next time.